Content warning. If you want to skip out on someone dying, please skip to this timestamp right here. Okay, time for the video.
Why do you even care? You could have walked away.
The Cygolians here must be better than this.
Kratos, the god of war. After destroying his homeland of Sparta and the Greek pantheon of gods, Kratos fled to the land of Midgard. There, he buried his past, changed his ways, and met a woman named Faye, who he married and had a son with, named Atreus. After Faye's death, Kratos and Atreus climbed to the highest peak in all the 9 realms to scatter her ashes.
Goodbye, Faye.
I love you, Mom.
3 years after this, Ragnarok begins to unravel. Kratos must truly change and face his flaws and open his heart to the suffering of others.
Son, listen closely. You feel their pain because that is who you are. And you must never sacrifice that. Never. Not for anyone. I was wrong, Atreus. I was wrong. Open your heart. Open your heart to their suffering. That is your mother's wish. And mine as well. Today, son. Today, we will be better.
And even then, he learns to accept his past and not only become the god of war once again, but even a god of hope.
I do not know. But I have hope. You are cruel and arrogant and selfish. But you are more than that. You have always been more than what others saw. You are more than that.
When it comes to characters that should join Smash Bros., Kratos is at the top of the list. At least my list. His presence in gaming was already well known enough, but with the release of God of War 4, which is where the series got a reboot and went to the Norse mythology, Kratos' presence has grown even greater. This, combined with the plethora of abilities that Kratos has shown throughout the games, makes him just a really damn good pick for a Smash fighter. Besides, the thought of Kratos, Kratos fighting Mario is pretty freaking funny, and I want to see that happen, so he should join Smash Bros. That's a good enough reason for me. But let's get into this, shall we? What if Kratos joined Smash Bros? Kratos. So we've got quite a lot to discuss here, such as how are we going to be making Kratos' moveset? In my opinion, there are countless ways to build a Kratos moveset. You can make him based on his Greek era, his Norse era, a combination of the two, leaning on one with nods to another, based on one specific game, based on one specific weapon.
You talk too much.
For my moveset though, I'll be majorly relying on the Nordic era of games, consisting of God of War 4, also known as God of War 2018, and God of War Ragnarok, plus its Valhalla DLC. I'll still be pulling from the Greek era of games, though not nearly as much. Again, there's countless ways to do this. This is just how I'm going to do this. Due to this, Kratos will be using the main weapons of this era. The Leviathan Axe, the Blades of Chaos, and the Guardian Shield. He'll also be using quite a bit of hand-to-hand combat and the Draupnir Spear, but those are unfortunately a little bit more limited. When it comes to Kratos' character archetype, the best way to describe him is as a heavy hitter that might struggle to get an opening, but when he does, the pressure is on. However, he does have a couple of options that will allow him to create his own openings that he can take, and some moves might be able to use in such a similar way. As for his game plan, you'll need to really think like this era of Kratos. Use your abilities wisely and only rush in at the ample time. Be smart about what you do, and when you do, you'll get to go full on Kratos on the opponents. Now when it comes to attributes, Kratos is an interesting case. He'll be a heavyweight fighter, but he sure won't feel like one. He's going to be much faster than your average heavyweight fighter as a whole. His walk speed is around that of Samus and Joker, which is around the middle of the pack. When he dashes, his initial dash goes insanely quickly, and his actual dash matches that of Cloud's, though not in the animation. I don't want to see Kratos like hovering over the ground. His airspeed is a bit to be desired though, as it's around Sephiroth's and Terry's, but his fall speed's not that bad, as it will be around me sword fighters, which is not that bad actually. And yeah, we're delving into new territories of attributes. Why not, you know? End the year off strong. Kratos will have the standard 2 jumps, and he'll have the ability to wall climb, wall jump, and crawl. He gets all of them. Kratos' stage entrance has him just walk onto the stage, holding his hand out to call the Leviathan axe into battle. Kratos' taunts are a tricky situation, as he doesn't taunt much during the Norse era. Or talk much. But I did get something. His up taunt has him hold the Leviathan axe out to his side and encoding the axe head in frost. All the while he shouts,
Master yourself!
His side taunt will be unique, having him hold out Mimir's head in front of him. Mimir will then acknowledge the opponents by using their boxing ring titles, something like this. Ah, Mr. Video Game himself. Or, ah, the chosen by the Keyblade. To which Kratos will just grunt. Certain fighters, however, like Ganondorf or Sephiroth, will receive a more aggressive taunt, as if Kratos' blood is boiling at the sight of them. And his down taunt has Kratos pull out his shield and a random weapon from his arsenal, which he'll then bash on the shield while shouting, as if to beckon the opponent. And if he pulls out the Blade of Chaos, it's just going to be one blade. His ults weren't any easier, honestly. But to get started, Kratos' default appearance will be his survival set from God of War Ragnarok, which is his starting set. His second ult will be the Spartan set, but specifically the one obtained after completing Ragnarok's Valhalla DLC. No young Kratos though, we're sticking to his older look. His third ult will be his Black Bear set, which is a variation of his survival set that's now equipped with a fur cloak like from the start of the God of War Ragnarok. And his fourth ult will be the Armor of Zeus set, obtained in the New Game Plus. After a lot of thinking, it will specifically be the Ragnarok version of the set. His fifth ult is a recolor based on his Fatebreaker set, which is an armor set made for Kratos right before he initiates Ragnarok. His sixth ult is a recolor based on Pandora, who, according to God of War mythology, was created by Hephaestus and served as the key to Pandora's box, which is said to bring the end of the world. His seventh ult is a recolor based on Atreus, Kratos' son, the champion of the Jotnar, and God of War's take on Loki, the Norse god of mischief. And his eighth ult is a recolor based on Tyr, the Aesir god of war, but also law, justice, and honor, who helped Kratos accept his past and become the god of war once more. And for his victories, Kratos' first has him pull out the Draupnir spear and Guardian shield, stabbing the spear's pommel into the ground and keeping the shield close to his side. The second has Kratos put his axe away, with Mimir commenting on the victory, before Kratos simply grunts and then says,
Let us go home.
And his final has Kratos arrest the Leviathan axe on his shoulder, and says,
Death can have me when it earns me.
A fitting victory for a man like Kratos. Kratos' jab has him ditch the axe and use the shield instead, starting with an upper shield thrust, then he does an angled spin with both his shield and his other fist, and then ends with a thrust of his shield forward. A standard jab, but the final hit can actually launch opponents ever so slightly. Don't worry, the axe is coming back for the forward tilt. This has Kratos perform an upward slash right in front of him. This will be one of Kratos' most reliable moves with its speed and relatively solid damage. His up tilt has Kratos perform an upward arcing slash from low left to low right with his axe. It has great range but has lower damage. Let's swap to the Dropner spear for his down tilt. This has Kratos stab the spear into the ground directly in front of him. It does have lower range, but it makes up for that by being a great tool for edge guarding. And his dash attack has him quickly jump up and slam the axe into the ground, causing an icy explosion to erupt. This actually comes out much faster than one would think and would be perfect for closing the gap between Kratos and opponents. For Kratos' forward smash, let's finally use the Blades of Chaos. This has Kratos swing the blades behind him to charge, then unleashes a powerful slam down. Given how the blades are attached to chains, this will be a far-reaching move and will have an easier time killing opponents than your average smash attack. That said though, it will take a second to charge to its full power. For his up smash, Kratos will use the ability Hell's Touch. Kratos will charge his axe with frost, then unleash it in a flash of icy wind right above him. It might be a little bit harder to hit opponents that aren't right above him, but it will hurt if you do get hit. And for his down smash, Kratos will use the ability Ivaldi's Anvil. Kratos charges his axe in a reverse script before jumping up and slamming it into the ground, causing a shockwave of ice to shoot out. This is mostly just going to be a standard AoE attack, but like the rest of his smash attacks, it will hurt like a truck. So coincidentally, two of Kratos' smash attacks are basically the exact same as Sora's. I didn't plan it out by that way intentionally. That's just how I was picking the moves. Those two work best, and then I went, well, I'm committed to it now.
Whoa there! That is so unfriendly!
Let's really see the blades be put to use, shall we? For Kratos' neutral air, he'll do an angled spin with the blades. This move has two hits, one from each blade, with one starting to spin right after the first one starts to. For his forward air, Kratos will swing both blades directly in front of him. This move will be great for starting aerial combos. His back air has Kratos pull the axe back out and swing it upwards after turning around, something like clouds. We're back to the blades here, as his up air has Kratos swing one of the blades overhead in a high arc. This move will have a very easy time hitting opponents from above, so opponents should watch out for it. That said, it does do a little bit lower damage. It is only one blade after all. And for his down air, it will be similar to his dash attack, having Kratos slam the axe downwards. As it's based on the Leviathan Axe's version of Death from Above, it will send Kratos far down and quick. Be wary of this move though, as by screwing the move up, you might end up facing your own demise. Kratos' grab has him throw out one of the blades to catch opponents, which will act as a tether, and his Pummel has him shield bash the opponents. His forward throw has Kratos grab the opponent by their legs, swinging them to his side, and then swinging them forward to launch them. His back throw will be just a simple aggressive throw backwards. His up throw has Kratos slam the opponents down onto the ground using the blade, which will bounce the opponents back up. And his down throw will be similar to his up throw, having Kratos slam the opponent down onto the ground using the blade, but then stabs the opponent with both blades. And you guessed it, it is a kill throw. Now we've made it to Kratos' special attacks, and I've decided to take an interesting stance with these. Each special will correlate to each of the weapons we've come to know, so let's get right into it. For his neutral special, what else could it be other than the Leviathan Axe's Axe Throw? Though admittedly, this move works more like Whirlwind Throw. Kratos will throw his axe out, and then it will come straight back to him. This will lock him out of all moves that use the axe until it returns, but he's still got a plethora of abilities to use, so he's okay. There's a little more to this move than meets the eye. While the move on its own does a solid amount of damage, you can hold the B button before you throw the axe. If you do so, Kratos will charge the axe and encoat it with frost. Freezing the axe will cause opponents to be frozen, and at full charge, the axe can freeze opponents at lower percents for a longer amount of time. You do have to sit there though, so getting full charge is difficult. Overall, Axe Throw serves as Kratos' main projectile option, and can even help Kratos to be put in an advantage state with its frost capabilities. Now for his side special, let's give the Dropnir Spear a chance to shine with the runic ability Huldra Charge. Kratos summons the Dropnir Spear and his shield, though the shield's strictly aesthetical. He'll then rush forward in a mad sprint before stabbing forward in a powerful strike. The rush covers a great distance, almost half the length of Final Destination, and it comes out really quick. The Spear Strike also, as previously hinted to, does a whole lot of damage. However, the move is committal, so once you've started, you're finishing it. If you throw it out all willy-nilly, opponents can take advantage of this, so time this attack out as best as you can to avoid this. Overall, Huldra Charge gives Kratos a powerful yet committal burst option. Let's call on the Blades of Chaos for the up special, shall we? For it, Kratos will use an old ability turned runic ability, the Cyclone of Chaos. I say it's an old ability because it's actually more based on the God of War 3 version of the move. This move will function like Link's current up special, having Kratos spin the blades around like crazy to move them upwards into the air. It's a very good recovery option that gives Kratos some insane damage and hitboxes in the air. It can also be used on the ground, but it's a more controlled version than it is in the air. Be careful though, while it may be this good, messing it up offstage can lead to a KO. You can combat this with his grab though, just keep that in mind. Overall, Cyclone of Chaos gives Kratos a powerful recovery and wide-hitting attack. And for his down special, let's let the Guardian Shield have its moment. And let's base it off God of War 4's version of the move, and you'll see why very quickly. For this move, Kratos holds the Guardian Shield out right in front of him. What he does depends on what kind of attack hits the shield. So yes, it's a counterattack, but trust me, it will be unique. If a physical attack hits the shield, Kratos will slam the shield into the ground, which causes a small explosion. This will deal great damage and will launch opponents into the air, cause explosion. If hit by a projectile, Kratos will absorb it and then shoot a new projectile out of his shield, with his new projectile going a far distance quickly, but it doesn't deal a whole lot of damage. But let's just say you hit B again. In this case, Kratos will perform Guardian's Judgment, having him perform a shield bash and then punch the shield to produce a wind gust, dealing moderate damage and great knockback. This move is separate from the counterattack though, so you can use it at any time. Told you it'd be unique. Overall, the Guardian Shield gives Kratos a couple options to deal with opponents' attacks and an extra attack for himself. All in all, Kratos' specials are relatively simpler, especially compared to some of the fighters I've made this year alone, but they help Kratos get the job done. But before we get to his final smash, there's just one more thing we need to talk about. While I do think there are many ways to build a Kratos moveset, I think there's one part of that has to be in it no matter what.
So, care to try again?
You talk too much.
You won't talk? Fine. Maybe whoever it is you've got stashed in that house will.
You might have seen this coming, but Kratos' gimmick will be Spartan Rage. Kratos has a bar over his HUD. This bar slowly fills up over time, or if Kratos is able to land hits. It will go down if Kratos gets hit though, so be cautious. Once filled, he'll go into Spartan Rage. This will buff him tremendously with a higher damage output and so much more speed than normal. Now, a lot of people might have compared this to Joker's gimmick, which, understandable, that's kind of where I based it off of. So for comparison's sake, Spartan Rage will last a little bit shorter than Arson because it's a little bit more powerful. Now, unlike in base game, most of Kratos' moveset will stay the same, but a few moves will change, so let's cover them. His new jab has Kratos do a dashing punch with one hand that can be continuously followed up in a rapid punch if you hit an opponent. His new down tilt has Kratos simply kick forward. It has better range than his normal one and keeps the edge guarding. His dash attack changes only slightly. Kratos jumps up and slams his fist down on the ground, causing a rocky explosion. It's mostly just an animation change, but one that felt fitting. I don't know how to say this, but all his throws are now kill throws at high percents. So have fun with that. His neutral special becomes Stone Throw. Kratos pulls up a rock from the ground and just chucks it. It goes super far, dealing a high amount of damage, and Kratos keeps his axe. On the flip side, it can't be spammed no matter how hard you try. I know. And his down special use a weapon from his past, one that saw a return in the Valhalla DLC. The Blade of Olympus. Kratos will spin around with the blade before he slams it into the ground, dealing high damage and killing opponents early. It is a little bit on the slower side, literally for balancing sakes. Overall, Spartan Rage will give Kratos a powerful tool, assuming you can control his rage. But now, let's actually get to the final smash. Now we finally made it to Kratos' final smash. But I don't think he should do this alone. I mean, one of the major factors of the Norse era was that it was an adventure of father and son. After unleashing the power of the Smash Ball, Atreus will appear jumping out behind Kratos and firing his bow straight forward. All opponents caught in that shot will be brought to a special arena, like the one that Kratos and Atreus fought Baldur in. Speaking of that fight, it will then transition to Kratos and Atreus ganging up on the opponents, just like they did to Baldur. It ends with Atreus taking one final shot at them, before Kratos comes in and slams his fist down on the opponents. This will hurt like hell, and if opponents are at high enough damage, they will be automatically KO'd. Overall, Kratos' final smash shows the true strength that lies in father and son. And that does it for What If Kratos Joined Smash Bros. A satisfying end to the end of the year. You know, great way to end it off, because I've had this kit planned since January. I'm being so serious. I played God of War 2018, God of War 4, in January, and after I finished it, I had two thoughts. One, oh my god, this is one of the best things I've ever seen, played, anything. This is glorious. And two, oh my god, I gotta make a Kratos Smash kit. And I planned for him to be the last kit of the year and release in December. And by doggit, I think that's the same, by whatever it is, I did it. I completed a goal from the beginning of the year. Says something that one of my goals for the year was to make a Smash move set, but sure, it could be worse. And you know what? I think Kratos was a great way to end it all off. Now, let me be honest with you guys. I thought Kratos would be way more complicated than this. He's way, way simpler than I thought he'd be. I feel like it says something that the Runt Alchemist, the Chef, the Otaku Assassin, and the Wannabe Rockstar are, from a design standpoint, way more complicated than the goddamn God of War. Like, what? What do you mean? Now, I say that, but there is a lot of other stuff to Kratos' moveset. He's not simple. I mostly mean from, like, what he does is simpler. Like, there's obviously nuance to the moveset. Leviathan X can freeze. Blades of Chaos go crazy. You know, because they're attached to chains. All those moves have insane range. The down special, I mostly mean from a design standpoint. That he's I don't know what I'm saying. I gave him a counter attack, which is not what I was expecting going in, but like, even still, it's not easy. He's got a lot of stuff going on. You gotta learn him. He's not gonna be like Sora, where you can just jump in and learn him instantly. There's a lot going on. You've gotta take the time and learn how to fight. And you'll take that knowledge, you'll use it wisely, you'll use it in the right situation, and that's gonna lead you to victory. If I made like a Greek Kratos moveset, or young Kratos moveset technically, he'd be way, way more spam to victory than this. Oh boy. I really did enjoy doing Kratos though. Like, I've already talked about the design standpoint. A lot of things changed in production. At one point, the Leviathan X was going to be doing a sweeping swing for the down tilt. I changed that to the spear so it could get more use in the moveset. Quite literally, it was only going to be in one taunt, one victory, and one move. And even still, I didn't get to use it enough. So I think that really harkens to the fact that there's a lot you could do with a Kratos moveset. There's a million ways you could do it, I honestly think. And this is the way I chose. I'm happy with it. I don't expect to do it again, honestly, unless I'm feeling like, hey, let's do a specific weapon moveset. And like, sure, but it would be a lot of reuse for victories and anyways. The only other Kratos moveset I can even see me doing, and this is a very unlikely potentiality, is young Kratos. I've already briefly mentioned him. I haven't played any of the Greek era. Personally, I just saw footage while I was, making the moveset. And so I very much so could, but we'll see. There is another God of War moveset I would be willing to do, and it harkens to something like that could have been used more in this. A lot of people probably noticed I didn't use Atreus much. I used him as an alt reference and in the final Smash. And that was because I wanted this to be a Kratos moveset, but also Atreus moveset sounds really cool, so keep an eye out for that. Probably will do it. I don't know. We'll see. But through all of the changes and all the really taking my time trying to decide what's going to be used for what, Kratos is by far one of the coolest movesets I've ever made, and I am very proud of it. And I think that is a great way to tie a little knot on this year when it comes to Smash Bros. Movesets. And I want to say right now, thank you all so much for watching. Not just this video, but just this year. This year's been way bigger for my channel than I thought it'd be, and it means a lot to me that y'all have stuck around and watched this guy put characters in Smash Bros. I put Shrek in Smash this year. Like, y'all watched it, so thank you for that. And if you're new here, hi, stick around. I've got more videos like this if you want to do the YouTuber things. I'm not going to say anything. You know what to do. I will say there's a link down in the description, and if I remember to, in the end card, to a playlist containing the entire Smash Bros. Theory Kit series, including every Smash Kit I've made, the 3 extra alts videos now, and the book, or the video about the alt book, and the Kratos reveal trailer. All of those are in there, and you can watch that if you want to. But that said, I'm going to go ahead and end it off here. Did I say ear? Yeah, I did. Whatever. I'm going to end it off here because I got to edit this video now. I'm recording this the day the reveal trailer went out, at least this segment. So thank y'all for watching. And until 2025, I hope y'all have a great rest of the year and a happy new year. Bye-bye!